Well, last night was quite possibly my single most embarrassing night in the history of being a performer. The anvil fell, fell on you. I knew this was going to be like Spinal Tap. I just knew it. What do you have to say for yourself now?
Relax. Everything'll be fine tonight.
Is 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 that a sword? The first night you drove the anvil through the stage. Last night you couldn't even reach it. Now you're going to bloody cut it in half? Okay, here we are, and we're taking a look at the Fall of Cybertron Ultra Magnus figure. This guy is a repaint of Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime with the new head. He also comes with a different weapon and an entirely different layout in terms of paint and deco. Let me just remove the sword here. We'll get to that in a minute. And you can take a good look, and I will say right now, I think this figure is light years better than Optimus Prime. Had I known this guy was coming, and he would look like this, I would have gotten this figure instead of Optimus Prime and just ignored Optimus Prime. You have these great red highlights on the front, Autobot logos on the side, blue and white going down the body, silver down the front, down to the legs. You got the blue and silver accents, great detailing on the wheels. Yep. So let's take a look at that head sculpt. And here it is. As you can see, this is an entirely new sculpt. Looks very much like how Ultra Magnus's visage looked in the game, or at least close to it. I mean, this is a new take on Ultra Magnus, but it's different, but it's still recognizable as Ultra Magnus. If the name wasn't on the package, you could tell this was Ultra Magnus. So yeah, red eyes, white horns, it's Magnus. We're going to pause here. I'm going to skip the transformation since I went over it with Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime, so we'll pick up in a moment. Before we get to Ultra Magnus's vehicle mode, I want to pause for a moment and go over his accessories. He actually comes with two. A repaint of Optimus Prime's gun, which looks very close to his classic G1 blaster, done in a gunmetal gray, and a sword. One thing that's not mentioned in the instructions, but is shown on the packaging, is the gun and sword can combine for a super sword mode. Some people have gone over how to combine it, some haven't. I figured I would just show you how it works, but going in reverse. First, you have the handle for the sword. That clips on the main grip of the gun. So you can just pop that off. Next, you want to just go ahead and pop this rear bit off, and then you can go ahead and take off the main blade, which tabs in from here into some grooves in the gun. I think, yeah, you can see them here on the camera. Like I said, this blaster is a repaint of Optimus Prime's, and it's done in a gunmetal gray. I don't know if that's showing up well on the camera. In other reviews and photos, the color hasn't really shown up that well. But you have that. Now, to go back to sword mode, basic sword mode, there's a post here. You just want to go ahead and slot that in, and then very easily peg the blade section back together. This is very reminiscent to the sword that Optimus Prime used at the end of the game. To be honest, I think it should have come with him instead of Ultra Magnus, but I see why it came with Ultra Magnus. Much like Optimus Prime, the peg here, here, here. There's a lot of options for weapon storage. You can, I've seen a lot of people sling it on Ultra Magnus's back. Here, let me show you real quick. Bring the camera up. There's the hole. And just like that. And of course, as always, he can hold the gun in his hand quite nicely. Like I said, I really like this version of the mold, and I think it works a lot better. Okay, here's Ultra Magnus in his vehicle mode. I should mention that, at least on my figure, some of the joints are a little bit looser than Optimus Prime. Some of them are tighter, but for the most part, they have all the same tolerances, except for here in the shoulders, which are part of that automorph gimmick in terms of transformation. It just doesn't work as snugly as I like. Now, the one thing I did differently in the transformation, and I'm sure you noticed, is I keep the smokestacks up in robot mode. And then in vehicle mode, I fold them back slightly. This is to differentiate between the models of Prime and Magnus. Just giving the figure a little squeeze. And as you can see, the sword bits came off. You can store it here on the side, or you can do my preferred pose of, crazy driver, and just scalping people off. Wheels do roll, and everything seems very nice. We'll pause here, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Ultra Magnus is a fantastic use of this fall Cybertron mold. He retains all the posability that Optimus Prime had, as you can see right here. I highly recommend this figure, with one exception. If you can afford it, get the Takara version, because all of this blue is done in a lighter shade of metallic paint. In fact, it's all metallic paint, and I think even on the sword. I'm kicking myself for not getting that version of this figure. It looks that good. I just can't. Maybe it's because I'm a big fan of the color blue, but definitely, if it's in your budget, pick it up. If not, pick up this guy. I got him off of Amazon, about $2 cheaper than Toys R Us, and $1 cheaper than Hasbro Toy Shop. And if you have Prime, it's free two-day shipping. This concludes Ultra Magnus week. I'd like to thank all of you for watching this little trilogy I had. Had the idea for a little bit. And of course, I'd like to thank our special guest, Freddie Mercury. Incidentally, as I mentioned in the Cyberverse Commander video notes, it is about 12 years or so since the induction of Queen into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Very coincidental. Had really forgotten about that, but hey. So, this is your old pal Chuck for Ultra Magnus and Freddie. We'll see you next time.